Your liver makes almost all the cholesterol your body needs, and it uses a specific chemical process. The process starts with small building blocks that come from breaking down the fats and carbohydrates you eat. Your liver takes these basic molecules and begins a series of transformations inside its cells. These pieces combine and build upward through several stages until they reach something called HMG-CoA. There is an enzyme called HMG-CoA reductase, and you do not need to remember that name. What matters is what happens next. This single enzyme controls everything about your cholesterol production. It is the rate-limiting step, the bottleneck that determines exactly how fast your liver builds cholesterol. All the chemical complexity narrows down to this one machine. If the enzyme works fast, your liver cranks out cholesterol rapidly from the raw materials. If the enzyme slows, cholesterol production drops dramatically. This is why cholesterol drugs work. They target this bottleneck and slow it down. When the enzyme slows, your liver is making less cholesterol overall. Many cholesterol medications spend their whole effect on controlling this single critical control point. Once HMG-CoA reductase finishes its job, the result becomes a molecule called mevalonate. The liver then takes mevalonate through a series of careful refinements and chemical reactions. These steps transform mevalonate into something called squalene, a 30-carbon molecule that looks nothing like the final product. Think of squalene as a rope that must be folded into a specific 4-ringed structure. This folding and rearrangement is the final assembly step, the delicate art of making cholesterol. Cholesterol is a waxy, fatty substance that cannot float in blood by itself. It has no way to dissolve in the watery environment of your bloodstream. Your liver solves this problem immediately, before cholesterol even leaves the factory. Before anything ships out, the cholesterol is bundled into special protective packages. Here is the first real problem. Cholesterol is fatty and blood is watery. They do not mix, so your liver bundles cholesterol into shipping containers called lipoproteins. These containers are part fat and part protein, and they float through your bloodstream. They work like tiny delivery trucks, carrying cholesterol cargo to where it is needed. Two main kinds of these vehicles exist, and one has earned a terrible reputation. The reputation is partly deserved, but the story is more complicated than the name suggests. These lipoproteins are sophisticated engineering. The outside dissolves in water, protecting the fatty cargo inside. Different sizes of these containers exist for different tasks in your body. The two main carriers are LDL and HDL, but they are not goods or trash. They are vehicles, and the vehicle itself matters less than how it operates and where it goes. LDL, or low-density lipoprotein, carries cholesterol from the liver out to your cells. Your cells desperately need cholesterol to build their outer walls and make certain chemicals. LDL is called bad cholesterol, which is only partly correct. LDL itself is necessary for normal cell function and survival. The problem is when too much LDL floats around in your bloodstream. When too many particles jam into your artery walls, they create a traffic jam that does not clear. That buildup is when LDL becomes a problem, not the molecule itself. HDL, or high-density lipoprotein, does the cleanup job throughout your entire bloodstream. It picks up extra cholesterol from your tissues and brings it back to the liver for disposal. HDL is called good cholesterol, which is also only partly accurate. HDL does useful and important work, but here is the twist that changes everything. Simply raising your HDL level with a pill does not make your heart safer. Studies show that raising HDL with drugs does not reduce heart disease risk. The actual function of HDL, how well it works, matters far more than the number itself. Now let us talk about what your body does with all this cholesterol. Your body needs cholesterol desperately, and not for any reason related to blood vessels. Cholesterol is a structural component of cell membranes everywhere in your body. It keeps membranes flexible enough to move and strong enough to hold together. Membranes without cholesterol become either too stiff or too floppy, and they fall apart. This is a material problem and a material solution. These membranes exist in every cell you have. Your body also uses cholesterol as the starting material for steroid hormones. These are chemicals that control your drive, your emotional resilience, and your entire stress response system. Without cholesterol, your body cannot make cortisol for handling stress at all. Without it, your body cannot make testosterone for your drive and building muscle. Without it, your body cannot make estrogen for sexual health and reproductive function. The hormone system depends on having adequate cholesterol available. Your body uses cholesterol to make vitamin D, which is barely less important overall. When ultraviolet light from the sun hits your skin, a cholesterol molecule transforms there. Your body then completes this transformation into active vitamin D, a critical regulator. This conversion is exactly where the sun's energy becomes actual biological function. Vitamin D controls calcium absorption, immune function, bone density, and physical strength. Vitamin D controls your mood regulation and your emotional stability and resilience. Without this cholesterol to vitamin D conversion process, your entire skeleton becomes weak and fragile. Without it, your immune system becomes weak and prone to recurrent infection. Without it, your mood becomes unstable and depression becomes much more likely. People deficient in vitamin D suffer more infections and more depression, period. The sunlight conversion of cholesterol into vitamin D is essential, not optional. It is exactly how your body is supposed to work in daylight. Cholesterol also becomes the building material for bile acids in your liver. Bile acids are the chemicals your body uses to digest and absorb dietary fats. Without cholesterol, your body cannot make these crucial digestive acids at all. Without bile, your intestines cannot break down and absorb the fats you eat. So your body makes cholesterol for good, specific, and fundamental chemical reasons. Now here is where the modern problem appears. Not the cholesterol itself. The actual problem is eating too much saturated fat and trans fat. When you eat these molecules, you send your liver the wrong signals. The signal says make more cholesterol, and your liver does not ask questions. Your liver simply obeys because it was built to respond to dietary signals. Trans fats are worse because your body makes almost no trans fats on its own. Trans fats from food are foreign chemical signals that disrupt normal regulation. The signal trans fats send is so distorted that the feedback system cannot hear it anymore. The normal stop signal gets lost in the noise. Trans fats cause much larger cholesterol increases per gram than dietary cholesterol ever does. This is the fundamental difference between a mild irritant and a toxin. The system can recover from some irritants once the signal stops arriving. Toxins corrupt the system itself, causing lasting damage that continues to persist. But here is what really matters. Cholesterol itself is not the villain in this story. Now let us talk about what actually happens when you eat cholesterol at breakfast. Does eating a cholesterol-rich food like an egg raise your blood cholesterol? The answer for most people is almost no, and the liver explains why. When you eat a cholesterol-rich food, your liver notices this signal immediately. Your liver then turns down its own production in response to the signal. This is a feedback loop, and your liver responds the way it was designed to. What moves the dial on blood cholesterol is saturated and trans fats. These have much bigger effects on your liver than dietary cholesterol ever does. For most people, eating up to 1 egg per day changes blood cholesterol almost nothing. But some people are genetically different, and a small group are hyperresponders. Hyperresponders see modest increases in blood cholesterol when they eat excess dietary cholesterol. Even in hyperresponders, the effect is still smaller than what saturated fats cause. But for these people, the effect is real and measurable in blood tests. A blood test can reveal who responds normally and who responds differently. The test is how you know, not guessing or assuming. For most people, eggs remain safe and normal to eat. For the few who respond differently, they know it from their own test results. So dietary cholesterol itself is not the culprit that raises your blood levels. Some people are dealt a much harder hand from a genetic standpoint. A genetic condition causes the body to not regulate cholesterol production properly at all. People with familial hypercholesterolemia can have high cholesterol despite eating almost nothing. For them, the problem is genetic and not related to behavior or diet. They cannot fix it with better food choices because the system does not listen. Medication is required and life-saving for these individuals and their overall health. The details matter significantly when you look at cholesterol in the blood. Not all cholesterol particles are the same size. Large particles can move through your system without trouble or getting stuck. Small, dense particles squeeze into narrow pathways and get stuck inside. Small particles break down faster once stuck, creating more damage than large ones. Small, dense particles are worse than large ones, even at identical total cholesterol. What controls particle size is another critical piece of the cholesterol story. Your triglycerides play a major role in determining your cholesterol particle density. When you eat carbohydrates, your body converts the excess directly into triglycerides. These triglycerides are packaged into your cholesterol particles for transport. High triglyceride levels produce more of those small, dense particles. The relationship between triglycerides and particle size is direct and fully measurable. This is the mechanical link between what you eat and what circulates. Exercise directly improves this fundamental problem, and the effect is quite powerful. Movement teaches your muscles to pull triglycerides out of your bloodstream and burn them. Muscles are triglyceride hungry and consume them for energy. A sedentary person packs cholesterol particles densely with triglycerides. An active person depletes triglycerides and creates larger particles. This is the metabolic payoff of physical activity and moving your body. The benefits are not theoretical. They are direct biochemistry. Your body makes cholesterol for a reason, and the system works as designed. For most people, the liver is working properly and responds to feedback. The problem arrives when the modern food environment sends wrong signals. When too much saturated or trans fat says crank higher, delivery systems clog. The real story is not that your system is poison or broken. It is that your body was built for a different food world. We feed it wrong signals with modern processed food everywhere. Let me sum this up into what you need to understand. Your liver makes about 80% of your blood cholesterol through one process. This process is controlled by one key enzyme that you can slow with drugs. Dietary cholesterol has less effect on blood levels than saturated and trans fats. Your body needs cholesterol for cell structure, hormones, and vitamin D production. The system is overstimulated by modern food signals, not broken. For most people, the answer is movement and making better food choices. For some people, medication is necessary and appropriate based on their numbers. For everyone, a blood test tells the real story of your cholesterol. Do not guess about your cholesterol. Get tested and know your numbers. The details matter when you understand your cholesterol profile. Know your LDL level, your HDL level, and your complete triglyceride level. Know your particle size if possible, because it matters more than total cholesterol. Talk to a doctor about your individual situation and your family history. Talk about your actual risk based on your numbers and family genetics. The choices are real and deeply personal, not one size fits all for everyone. This is general educational information, not professional medical advice of any kind. If you have questions about your health, talk to a doctor directly. They can run tests, understand your individual situation, and give real guidance. Do not use educational videos like this as a substitute for professional care. Your doctor can give you advice that applies to your situation. Next, we are looking at how your body handles the triglycerides we just talked about.